Time is 10:28 a.m. Good morning. The news headline: Afenifere knocks Gbajabiamila for saying that IPOB and Yoruba Nation agitators are same as Boko Haram. The pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere has reacted to the view expressed by Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, which he said that the IPOB and Yoruba Nation agitators are not different from Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters. Afenifere says that the speaker's view signposts the low level of intellectualism in the hallowed corridors of power in Nigeria. Afenifere's National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Jare Ajayi, is a release obtained by our correspondent on Wednesday, said if an informed person had spoken in the manner that a fourth citizen in Nigeria spoke, one might excuse him on her. But for a person of Gbajabiamila's status to have spoken the way he did is not only disappointing and unfortunate, it is frightening. Frightening because it gives us an insight into what the thinking of those at the helms of affairs currently is. How, for God's sake, can any reasonable person liken those who are advocating for self-determination to Boko Haram, ISWAP, etc., who have demonstrated that they are unrepentant terrorists who are not only deriving joy in killing, maiming, but are not hiding their desire to overrun the country? Yes, some youth, especially in the southeast, may be overreaching themselves under the guise of enforcing IPOB sit-at-home order, but likening them to avowed terrorists amounted to playing to the gallery. Bringing self-determination agitators in the southwest into the calculation wasn't the matter for Gbajabiamila. At what time and in what circumstance did the pronouncements and activities of Yoruba Nation advocates were indicative of criminality? It is unfortunate that Gbajabiamila, a lawyer, could be so uncouth in the way he describes self-determination advocates. The way Gbajabiamila spoke tends to suggest that he wanted to sound like a good boy to some unknown people. Afenifere advises the government under President Muhammadu Buhari not to entertain the thoughts of outlawing self-determination advocates or tag them as terrorists or as enemies of the state. For doing so would not only counterproductive, it would all amount to dissipating energy on a mere scratch while leaving leprosy to fester. And these were the words of the Afenifere group, which happens to be the pan-Yoruba socio-political organization in Nigeria. And this is coming after the headline that IPOB Yoruba Nation agitators are not different from terrorists, which was said by Gbajabiamila. The Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has said that the refusal of the separatist movement in the southern parts of the country to accommodate dissenting opinions makes them the same as the Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists. He stated this on Wednesday in his address to welcome members of the House back from their 9 weeks recess. The lawmakers had proceeded on recess on July 15 after considering some major bills including Electoral Amendment Bill and Petroleum Industrial Bill (PIB). President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the PIB into law. The indigenous people of Biafra IPOB advocates the secession of the Igbo-populated Southeast Zone, while the Southwest Zone, Sunday Adeyemo aka Sunday Igboho, is leading agitation for a Yoruba nation. IPOB recently gave a sit-at-home order every Monday in the Southeast. The order has been enforced partly through violence, forcing the people of the region to comply. And on Tuesday, the group also gave a sit-at-home order in honor of its members killed on September 14, 2017, when men of the Nigerian army invaded the home of Nnamdi Kanu, its leader. The order has been condemned by several people, including the state governors from the region. Mr. Gbajabiamila said, given time and space, the separatist movement in the south will drag Nigeria towards the path of destruction. According to him, the groups are posing new threats to the national security of Nigeria. Thus far, we have rightly focused our national security concerns on the machinations of extremist insurgents who seek to remake our world in the image of their discredited theocracy and bandits who maraud and terrorize whole regions for profit. The speaker said, "We must now add to these concerns an emerging threat that presents the same clear and present danger. In the south of Nigeria, east and west, miscreants and criminals masquerading as separatist activities have emerged to wreak havoc, take lives, and commit economic sabotage against fellow Nigerians and against the states. These people, in their inclination for devastating violence against fellow citizens, their appetite for the destruction of private property, their disruption of academic activities, commerce and industry, their propensity for defiling institutions of the state, society and community, their refusal to engage in debate or consider the possibility of dissenting opinions and alternative viewpoints are no different from Boko Haram and ISWAP. Given space and time, they will take our nation down the same path of destruction." Mr. Gbajabiamila also said and asked the media to desist from using the number of bills sponsored as metrics for measuring the performance of a lawmaker. He described the practice as uninspired journalism, noting that there are other mandates for lawmakers aside from bills and motions. Mr. Gbajabiamila urged his colleagues to brace themselves for more work as the House is due to commence the implementation of the recommendations of Security Summit. The lawmakers held a Security Summit in May, and reports of the Special Committee was subsequently adopted before the House embarked on holiday in July. However, despite all the illustration by Gbajabiamila about the terrorism going on in the country, saying that it is a path to destruction if care is not taken, where he said that the refusal of the IPOB to follow proper strategies in addressing this situation, says that makes them not different from the ISWAP and also the Boko Haram, saying that they are only terrorizing the whole region for profit, that they are even ordering for a sit-at-home order, which is actually dragging back the economy of the country, where the Afenifere group had actually said that this is just a signpost of low level of intellectualism in the hallowed corridors of power in Nigeria, saying that if the fourth citizen of the country can actually be speaking in such a gullible and disappointing and quite unfortunate manner, then it is frightening because it gives them the insight that this might be the thoughts of the people at the ends of power. And he's actually saying this because he wants to sound like the Mr. Good Boy, to those of his leaders that are actually not specified, saying that the unrepentant terrorists are quite different from people that are asking for self-determination. And if Gbajabiamila, who is also a lawyer, can actually be describing self-determination as terrorism, then that means there is actually a mix-up somewhere, and that is to say that he has a very low intellectualism. And they said that the sit-at-home order was not even was not a means to create terror or problem in the country, that they had even suspended it, that anybody even doing that under the guise of IPOB was doing that in their own way, and that does not even mean that that is terrorism, because all these things that the terrorists are doing is killing and maiming people for their own interest without deriving joy, and they are not doing so. The time is 10:37 a.m. Good morning.